Hey everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video I'm really excited to do because it's going to be my monthly Shop to My Stash. So I'm going to be going through the items that I chose out for March, kind of give my thoughts on them if I'm planning to keep them around. Then I'm also going to show you what I chose out for April to put into my monthly makeup basket. So I always enjoy doing this series and I want to go ahead and jump into it. So as usual, I'm going to start off what I chose out for last month, kind of go through each of the products, if I'm planning to keep them or if I'm planning to remove them from my collection. Primers are one thing that I've kind of noticed I don't have a lot of like really old primers in my collection and things like that, but I just decided to grab out one that I really do enjoy and just give it a lot of love throughout the month. That is from Flower Beauty. This is the In Your Prime Pore Minimizing Primer. I really enjoy this primer. I can tell like it feels like it's probably about right here, so I'm getting pretty low on it and I kind of have to really like shake it before I use it, but I really enjoy this guy. I really do feel like it does a good job of blurring out the pores, and the Flower Beauty primers I just think are really nice. So that's definitely going to stay in my collection until I end up going through all of it. And then for the foundation, I chose out one of my favorite foundations and like my favorite drugstore foundation. This is from L'Oreal. It's the True Match Lumi. I wanted to pull this into my Shop to My Stash because I just recently repurchased this one in the shade N4. So I just recently repurchased this one, but then it's like you're always trying new foundations and testing out new ones, and I was like, you know what, I repurchased this one because I loved it so much, and then it was just kind of sitting there. So I pulled it into my Shop to My Stash, and I have most of the products that were in my March Shop to My Stash on today. I do have a Get Ready With Me that I did last month, also that I can link down below, and I just really enjoy this one. I think it gives such a nice finish, like a luminous finish, but still kind of natural at the same time. I think it wears really well, and again, it's drugstore and it's affordable, and I think it's awesome. So this one, obviously I just repurchased it, so that one's going to be staying with me too. And as always, when I do these videos, I post the Get Ready With Me with the products that I chose out for the new month the first Friday of every month, so that will be tomorrow, and then the day before is when I go through the previous month and show you what I picked out for the new month. So tomorrow's video is going to be just a little Get Ready With Me with the products that I chose out for April, so make sure to stay tuned for that one. And then for concealer, I grabbed out this one here from NYX. This is the HD Studio Photogenic Concealer. This is one that I really like and I don't hear people talk about a ton, and I just kind of noticed myself not reaching for it as much, but I really like it. I think it's nice and full coverage on the eyes, and I like the way that my under eyes look when I wear this one. So again, really like this one. Just wanted to give it a little bit more love in the month of March, which I think that I did accomplish. For my powder, this is so interesting to me. Okay, so I grabbed out the Neutrogena Skin Clearing Mineral Powder, which looks like so. And I grabbed this one because I was like, I remember getting it, trying it out, really liking it, and then I didn't reach for it as much because I feel like powders have been really impressing me lately, pressed powders and loose powders. I've just been finding so many that I like and so many that I think are so good I just keep going back to and back to, and this one kind of got buried in my powder drawer. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pull it back out and see what I think about it, and I have been so impressed. It is the powder that I have on my skin today, and it really wasn't like till I'm gonna say like halfway through the month that I started finally pulling this one out, because I do have another powder option that I have in here too. So it was about halfway through the month that I really started playing with this one, and for some reason in my mind I was like, I think I'm probably gonna declutter this one, because if I haven't been reaching for it a lot, I even put it in my Shop My Stash and I still was reaching for the other powder versus this one, like I can probably get rid of it. And the first time that I put it back on, I was like, why have I not been using this powder? It is so nice. It reminds me a lot of like the CoverGirl Healthy Vitalist, which that powder reminds me a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Powder. It just makes your skin look flawless and just a little bit more airbrushed and smoothed out, and it's still nice and lightweight. I just am so impressed with this one, and I'm getting so frustrated with myself, like, why did you let this one sink to the bottom of your drawer, and why did you not pull it out sooner in the Shop My Stash? So this one I really do recommend. Another powder I pulled out this one from Wet n Wild. It's the Mega Glow Contouring Palette, and mine is in Dulce de Leche. So it has a setting powder on one side and then a contour on the other, and I love both of these. This is my second one of this particular palette from Wet n Wild because I just really like it. It's like $5, which is great. I really like the contour side, which I used a lot for contour in March, but also the setting powder side is really nice, and it's nice and brightening. So I just kind of kept reaching into it because I was like, oh, I'm gonna go into this for contour. It's so nice and handy to have this powder here too, so that's why I wasn't reaching for the Neutrogena as much, but this one is still great. I've been recommending this for like years on my YouTube channel, and again, I've gone on to repurchase it. Did a couple different like bronzer or contour options. So This one is from Benefit. This is the Hoola Quickie Contour Stick. I really use it as a cream bronzer versus a contour shade because it is just more on the warm side, so it's not so much a contour on my particular skin tone, but it is a stick product and it is what I have on as my bronzer today. And then I do also have a bronzer layered on top of it. A lot of times when I wear cream bronzers, I tend to set them like I would a foundation or like my concealer with a regular powder bronzer. I don't know why, because I'm not that way with cream blush, but with cream bronzer I am. But I really do like this one. I didn't reach for it as much because I don't reach for cream products a ton over my powder products, which is a reason why I wanted to put it into my Shop My Stash. But it's still really, really nice. It's really creamy on the skin. Like, I can apply directly to my face on both sides and take my time blending it out, and it's still super easy to blend out. Just one of those cream products that is very natural looking on the skin, and I just think that it looks really nice. I still think that I like my Milk Makeup one just a touch more than this, but I also definitely like this more than my Fenty Matchstick. So this is still a good one. I still do want to keep it around. I have very few cream products in my collection. Like, I think I only have these 3 cream bronzers, which is not a ton when you think of like a YouTuber's makeup collection. So I do want to keep that one around, and I still would recommend it. The other bronzer that I pulled out, this is from Estee Lauder. This is the Bronze Goddess bronzer, and my shade is in 2 medium. So this is what I have over the Benefit Quickie Contour Stick, just because I'm weird like that. Does anyone else do that with their bronzers? I do think it's weird that I don't do it with my blushes. I do it with my highlights though. A lot of times if I use a cream or a liquid highlight, I will put a powder on top. Just kind of realizing that about myself. But I wanted to pull in this one from Estee Lauder because I wasn't reaching for it a ton. It has a little bit of shimmer in it. Like, if you look really closely in here, you can see the shimmer, but I don't see that a ton on my skin. I don't think it's very glittery. Kind of just, it's not even like my most like glowy bronzer that I own, but you can get a little bit in there. But I wanted to pull it into my Shop My Stash because I just wasn't reaching for it a ton, and I have a lot of other bronzers that I just really enjoy. But I really did like it throughout the month, and I found myself reaching for it more and more. I reached for this one over the Benefit more, and sometimes that's just because I would already, you know, have powdered my face, and then I didn't want to come in with a cream product, so I'm like, oh, I'll use the Estee Lauder. But genuinely, I did end up, you know, getting my feelings back for it, if you will. So I'm gonna keep that one too. Let's see, I'm gonna move over to the eyeshadow palettes before they fall off my lap. So this one here is from Juvia's Place. This is the Douce palette. This is what I used in my Get Ready With Me that I posted last month at the beginning of March. This one is just like my favorite Juvia's Place palette, which is super weird because the color combinations inside don't, like, I don't want to say don't make any sense, but like they don't make any sense to me. But that's just because I don't have a great like creative mind in any sort of sense. But I don't know, it's just a different palette for me. Maybe that's why it doesn't make sense that it's one of my favorites, because it's just different from what I normally enjoy. But I really do like the color combinations in here, and whenever I decide to reach in for this palette, it takes me a little bit. Takes me a few minutes to look at it and be like, okay, what am I doing today? I still really like it. Juvia's Place does have nice eyeshadows. They're not necessarily my favorite, but I do think that they're nice. And then out of all of their palettes that I've tried, which I've tried quite a few, this one just tends to be my favorite, and I just keep going back for it. So I'm definitely gonna be keeping around the Juvia's Place. And then I have this palette on my eyes today. This is from Violet Voss. This is their Holy Grail palette. This palette I have fell in love with since the moment I started trying it, and it continues to be one of my favorites. Today I just did one of like my kind of like basic go-to looks. I have Bestie in the transition, I have Brownie Points on the outer part of my eye, I have Cool Beans as the shimmer, and then Ploof as the inner corner and brow bone highlight. Like, super simple. I have Bestie and Brownie Points on my lower lash line. Super simple, but that's why I love this palette. It's just a palette that I feel like when I go into it, I know what I'm gonna do. I know it's in my comfort zone. I know I can come up with a look, you know, within 2 seconds looking at this palette. I do travel with this one quite a bit. I was helping out with makeup in a wedding this past weekend, and I grabbed this palette to take with me because I know, you know, a lot of the girls were gonna be doing more neutral looks with it, and I thought that this would be a good palette to bring along. It's just one of my favorites, and I found myself, like, the reason I pulled this into Shop My Stash is because I wasn't reaching for it a lot. You know, there's so many eyeshadow palettes that I'm trying. I'm trying to do ranking new palettes about every, you know, 4 to 6, 7 weeks on my channel, so I'm trying to use a bunch of different palettes really consistently, and so some of my older faves are kind of getting left behind, and this was one of them that I'm like, I just want to use this one more because I just enjoy this palette so much. So I still highly recommend the Violet Voss Holy Grail. Two items that I am going to go ahead and declutter are the mascaras that I chose out. So from Joah, this is the Ice Cream Mascara, and then also this Buxom Blackest Black Mascara. It's just called their Lash Mascara. I have the Buxom on today. The Joah is pretty much completely done. So Joah Beauty is a newer brand, and they are exclusive to CVS. I've tried out a couple other products, and I do think that they're pretty good, especially for their price point. The mascara I really did like. It does give you a lot of length. It gives you some curl to the lashes, and it was also really black, which I did enjoy, but it ran out super quickly. So for that reason, I don't think that I would repurchase the Joah, because like in a way it's kind of good because you can't keep mascaras forever. They do expire pretty quickly, so it's like, okay, it's not a bad thing that it went bad really fast, but like, not that it went bad, it just ran out really fast. So I don't know, I don't experience that a ton with mascaras, but I noticed just after a few uses, I could barely get anything out. So I threw it into my Shop My Stash to just kind of finish it off, which I have. So this one's, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it away because it's done. And then the Buxom is pretty much there also. As I was trying to apply it to my lashes today, and even the last couple of times, I'm really having to go in and, you know, pick up as much mascara as I can and just kind of continually add it to my lashes to build them up. So both of these are going to go ahead and get tossed, and that's kind of what I've been trying to do with my mascaras in the Shop My Stash. Reach for ones that I don't use a ton, but maybe have been open a little bit longer or about gone, and just try to use them up so I can get rid of them. So these two are gonna go. Out two different blushes. I have this one from Mavie Cosmetics. This is I Can and I Will. Mavie Cosmetics is a newer indie brand. This blush is so nice. It's such a pretty neutral blush. It's what I have on my cheeks today. I think that it's nice and pigmented, yet it's still, you know, easy to blend and build up on the cheeks, and I just love the shade of it. So this here from Mavie Cosmetics I still think is really nice, so I definitely will be holding on to that one. I also wanted to pull a cream blush into my Shop My Stash also. Just as I was doing the cream bronzer, I was like, why not do a cream blush at the same time? This is from Flower Beauty. This is one of the blush bombs, and this is in Nectar. I don't have this one on today. I just kind of forgot about it, not gonna lie. Like, sometimes that happens. Even if I use a cream bronzer, I still forget, and I will still powder before applying my blush. This one is really nice though. I'm a little bit intimidated by cream blushes because sometimes they can just be too much. It could be too heavy, but this one I still think is really nice because it's just more like lightweight, and I don't want to say that it's not like as pigmented as some other blushes, but it just seems to be so easy to blend, and it doesn't get too intimidating on the face. And I like the applicator of it. It's really easy to squeeze out, you know, just a little bit of product without going overboard. Both of my blushes will be sticking around with me. For my highlight palette, I chose out one of my favorites. This is from MAC. It's one of the Hyper Real Glow palettes. This one is the Rose Gold palette. I just did my highlight collection declutter recently, so I can link that one down below. And I have really high things to say about the MAC highlight palettes. This one is definitely my favorite out of the ones that I've tried. It is the highlights that I have on today. I just mixed together these first two shades, and that's the highlight I have on. I think it's a beaming highlight, a blinding highlight. I really enjoy these palettes. So my MAC one's not going anywhere. I feel like for the month of March, I did a good job of grabbing out products that I really want to give more love to. Maybe not necessarily ones that like are, you know, kind of on my chopping block, but that's just kind of how we ended up doing it in March. I had an eyeliner in there, you know, kind of just something to grab to put into the bag that, you know, I just kind of, this one's always just by my desk, trying to help me remember to use these products. This is from Milk Makeup. This is in CEO. The Milk Makeup liners are fantastic. They're really easy to apply in the waterline. I have this one on today, and they're really long wearing, so I highly recommend them. My brow pencil was the one from Morphe, and I'm actually really impressed with this one because I kind of realized how much product is in here. That's happened before with the Benefit one too. I still have that much product left, which, I mean, I'm definitely getting down there, but I kind of thought that I would run out maybe like halfway through the month or something, and I didn't. So I do feel like there's a good amount of product in here because I've been using this Morphe brow pencil for a really long time. So I'm impressed at the kind of like how much product you get, I guess. And this is the micro brow pencil. My shade is in Latte. It's what's in my brows today. I highly recommend this brow pencil. I've talked about it quite a bit on my channel. I really do enjoy it, so definitely would recommend that one. Setting spray that I picked out was from Revlon. This is the Photo Ready Prep Set and Refresh Mist. I still really do like this one. I chose it in March because it kind of got buried in my drawer, and I was like, oh no, because I really do like it. It has a very fine mist to it. Like, sometimes I feel like I have to get pretty close to my face, otherwise I'm like, am I spraying my face? But I do think that this is really good at actually setting and locking in your makeup. I can almost feel like my skin is a little bit tacky after I after I spray this, but I do feel like it's doing a really good job of keeping everything in place. So if you're looking for a good setting spray, I definitely think this one from Revlon is a good option. And then I just have my lips to finish off with. So I chose out a lip liner, a liquid lipstick, and then also a lip balm. So the lip liner I have is from Bite Beauty. This is 020. I did not recall how creamy the Bite Beauty lip liners are. Mine needs to be sharpened. I do have it on my lips today. I have worn this so much, and it definitely has gotten shorter from where I started in the beginning of the month, because I've sharpened it so many times because I've used it so many times. It is so creamy. I'm like, how in the world did I forget this? But I've been so impressed with this one from Bite Beauty, so definitely would recommend their lip liners. So I have that on. I use it to line and fill in my lips, and then I chose out the Nars Afterglow Lip Balm in Orgasm. I just really like this lip balm, and I just really wanted one in my Shop My Stash, but this one is so good. Again, I have it on today. It's a fairly sheer shade because it's just a lip balm with a little bit of a pink tinge to it, so if you add it over a lip liner, I think that it looks really pretty. But it does just feel really good on the lips, and I really do like the packaging of it, so I'm gonna keep using this until it's gone for sure. And then the liquid lipstick that I chose out was from Pixi Beauty. This is in the shade Matte Beige. It's one of the Matte Last liquid lipsticks. I really do like these from Pixi. They're a nice kind of like mid-range option for liquid lipsticks, but I have quite a few in my collection, and I thought I could give one some love. So I really do like the applicators on these, and I really enjoy this shade. I just really like my Pixi lips. So again, just wanted to get some more use out of this one throughout the month, and I feel like I achieved that. So didn't declutter a whole ton from my March Shop My Stash, but I feel like I got, you know, I was able to focus on some of my older products and ones that I just really like so much. I was able to kind of give them more love throughout the month. So I'm pretty happy with how March went, and let me show you what I picked out for April. Alrighty, so we got a new bag here for April, and jumping into it, I feel like I kind of chose less products in each category. Like some categories I was doing 2 options for, like even like eyeshadow palettes I was grabbing out 2, and I wanted to cut down on that. I just feel like even when I was pulling in items for Shop My Stash, because I do love to review and I really like to try out new products, it was just kind of harder for me to get to the ones that I pulled out as much as I could while still balancing trying to review the newer products. So we kind of have like less products, I think, but I think it'll be easier for me going forward also. For my primer, I chose out this one from Touch in Sol. This is the No Problem Priming Water. I just mentioned this one recently in my favorite section of my Makeup Monthly, and I wanted to pull it back in because I felt like I tried it, you know, was able to get my review for it and my thoughts for it, and then I've like not reached for it again. And it's hard because like, especially right now, there is so many new primers on the market, and I have plenty of new primers that I'm trying out, but I keep pulling this one out. Like as I went to reach for it to put it into this basket, it was sitting front and center on my desk because I like it so much and I want to reach for it more. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull it in. I think it's really funny because this primer was in a BoxyCharm recently, and a bunch of my girlfriends get BoxyCharm, and they all love this primer. And when they told me which one it was, I was like, I just recommended that on my YouTube channel. Like, how exciting. It was really cool. So and it was funny because at the wedding, you know, a couple of my girlfriends were also bridesmaids, and they all wore this primer, which I thought was so funny. So I'm like, you know what, it's a sign. I'm pulling it into my Shop My Stash. For my foundation, I wanted to pull this one out because I have not, like, I can't remember the last time I reached for it, and it's one of those that I kind of want to see, do I like it, do I want to keep it in my collection, or should I declutter it? This is from Urban Decay. It's the Naked Skin One and Done Hybrid Complexion Perfector. I have 2 different shades. I have medium light and also medium, so we'll kind of have to see where I end up. This one that I grabbed out is medium light. It's supposed to be more like a lightweight foundation, like not quite a BB cream, not quite a foundation, but kind of like somewhere in between. And I remember last year, was it last year, that I just love this, especially in the warmer months. And you know, we are entering April now. It's getting a little bit warmer here in Iowa. I'm trying to help out the vibes. I got my cactus shirt on. Like, I'm trying Iowa. I'm trying to help us out here. So I thought it would be a good one, like a good month to be able to test this out and see what I think of it. Do I want to keep it around? Because I haven't used it in so long, but I really enjoyed it at one point. So we're gonna see what I think of that one. And then for my concealer, this is another one from Urban Decay. This is the All Nighter Waterproof Full Coverage Concealer. Once again, I just want to test this out and see if I should keep this around. I have the shade Light Neutral. I really enjoy the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. It's one of my favorites. I've repurchased this, so I think like I tend to go for that one a bit more. This one is definitely more full coverage. It is a little bit more on the drier side, if I'm remembering correctly, from the Naked Skin, but I still just want to give it a try and see if it's gonna stick around. My powder, okay, so I just did my highlight collection the other day, my declutter, and as I was pulling out my highlights, I found this in there and I opened it up and I was like, well, that's not a highlight. So I have not been giving any love to my Colourpop No Filter Sheer Pressed Powder in Light because I put it in the wrong spot. Whoops. So this is from Colourpop. This is just their light pressed powder, so you can use it for on the under eyes, and then kind of depending where I am, like shade matching and whatnot, I can use it over my face. But it's a nice compact, has a mirror in here too, so that's why I'm gonna pull it in, because I just kind of forgot about it, and it kind of makes me wonder, you know, if I forgot about it, do I really need it still? Because if I were to lose like my Hourglass, my Lawless Beauty, my Milk Makeup, I would be like, where is that? Where's that powder? And I didn't remember the Colourpop. For my bronzer and my blush, I pulled out two products here from Becca Cosmetics. I decluttered both of my Becca highlights in my declutter video, and I was kind of surprised. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna show a little bit of love to Becca this month. So I have the Capri Coast bronzer, a bronzer that I really enjoy. I haven't been reaching for it a ton lately. I've been testing out some new bronzers that I really like. This is a really beautiful bronzer. It has this nice like healthy glow that it gives the skin. Really like the shade, so that is Capri Coast. And then for my blush, this one is a Flower Child, so I also really enjoy this one. It also gives a nice kind of sheen. That's my dog. It gives a nice sheen to the cheeks also, so I'm going to pick out two products here from Becca Cosmetics. Sorry, I decluttered your highlights. For my highlight, this one was kind of hard because I was looking through my highlights and I was like, well, I feel like I did a really good job in my declutter. I decluttered half of my collection. So I was like, well, I don't feel like a lot that I have now are ones that, you know, I kind of need to test out and see, do I want to keep them around, because I did a pretty good declutter. But this was one that I like this product, and it's fairly newer to me, and even though it's not a favorite of mine, I still did want to keep it around. So I'm like, you know what, let's throw it into my Shop My Stash, get some use out of it, and see what I think at the end of the month. So that's from Charlotte Tilbury. It is the Bar of Gold palette. So inside you have a mirror, and then you have 3 different shades here. So I thought it would give me like a little nice variety. I can use them on their own. I can kind of mix the highlights and see what I think about them, and kind of see, you know, kind of check in at the end of the month, and do I still want to keep this around because, you know, I've said it's not a favorite of mine, or, you know, do I want to declutter it from my collection? For my setting spray, again, I have another one from Colourpop. This is the All-Star Face Setting Spray, and as I was going through my drawer, I was like, I don't remember really what I thought about this one, and I know I was trying this and the like All-Star Primer, face primer at the same time, and I think the face primer was breaking me out, so I stopped using it. I still have this one, and I'm like, I can't really remember what I thought about the setting spray because I was so kind of like worked up about the actual primer. So I'm gonna pull it back in and try it out this month and see, you know, what my thoughts are on it, and, you know, hopefully have a little mini review here come the end of April. But my brow pencils are not something that I really have a ton of. Like, I find my favorite brow pencils and I'll repurchase them and use the same ones. So this one, it was a little bit challenging, but I decided to pull in the Anastasia Brow Wiz, mostly because I don't love this one, and I think this is one that I'll use up as much as I can throughout the month, and then probably just declutter it because I just don't go for it a ton. I do have quite a bit of product in here, even though I've had this brow pencil for a while. I just don't use it a ton, so I still have quite a bit of product in, so I'll see how much use I can get throughout it. And it's not like the worst brow pencil I've ever tried or anything like that. It's just definitely not a favorite of mine. I think it pulls out my hairs, and sometimes it can just be harder to work with, but I'm gonna try to get through as much as I can, just because I feel bad kind of like tossing a fairly new brow pencil, so we'll see how I do. I have a face palette that I put in here, mostly for the contour shade, but it also has bronzer and setting powders in here if I would need that. This is from MAC. This is the Studio Fix Sculpt and Shape Contour Palette. I really do like this palette, especially for this middle shade here, which I use as contour. It's such a natural contour. I think that it's beautiful. And then there also are a few bronzer shades in here, and then setting powders also. A nice compact, or nice palette, and then you have the big mirror here too. So I really do like this palette. For my eyeshadows, so I grabbed out the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette. This isn't necessarily like a super old palette, but like I said, I was helping out with wedding makeup this past weekend. I was gonna say month, this past weekend, and one of the bridesmaids came up to me and said, can you do a smoky eye on me? And she handed me this palette, and I was like, the Naked Cherry, nice. I used it on her, and I really liked the look that I did, and I was like, you know, this is one of those palettes that I got it in PR, I tested it out, I reviewed it, And then I haven't really reached for it again because, again, I have so many eyeshadow palettes that I'm testing out to review. And I was like, but I really did like it. These are a lot of like my tones in here, a lot of shades that I really like to wear. And then especially once I did the look on her, I thought it was so pretty. I was like, you know what? I've been thinking about this palette since doing her makeup. I'm like, I'm gonna pull it in here because I thought it was really pretty. So that is the palette that I'm gonna focus on. And then I also, like, that's my only palette for this month, but I also did pull out a single shadow. This is from Marc Jacobs. This is the Paparazzi, one of the Sequins Glam Glitter eyeshadows. I just mentioned this kind of like randomly in a video the other day about how I don't reach for my singles a lot, and I purchased this one and it's pretty pricey and I don't reach for it a ton because I just tend to go for my palettes. And so that's kind of been playing in my head since I said that in a video, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pull it out. I'm gonna try to get some more use out of this in April because, again, it was a pricey product that I picked up and I want to get some more use out of it. For my mascara, this one here is from Molly Beauty. This is the Smoky Mama mascara. Again, just trying to use this one up because I know that it probably does need to be tossed, so I'm just going to try to get as much wear and use out of it as I can in April. The eyeliner that I pulled out, this is one of the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On pencils. This is an Uzi. This is kind of like a cool like steel gray, and I wore it the other day and I really quite liked it, and I thought it looked fun on the waterline. So it was kind of already out, and I was like, I'm just gonna throw this one in my bag. Again, just an eyeliner that I want to grab out. I own so many eyeliners that I'm not really too concerned about using up my older ones and whatnot, but I thought it would be a good addition for my makeup bag. And then for my lip products this month, I chose out a lip liner, a regular lipstick, and a liquid lipstick. So my lip liner is from CoverGirl. This is the one of the Exhibitionist lip liners, and this is in Caramel Nude. I really do like these ones from CoverGirl. They're nice and creamy. There's the swatch of Caramel Nude. It's really easy to line the lips with it, and it's the retractable pencil, so you don't have to sharpen it if you don't like sharpening your lip liners. So really do like that one. I pulled out a mini lipstick here from Pat McGrath. This one is in 1993. I have a couple minis from Pat McGrath, and I just don't reach for the lipsticks a lot. It's not my favorite formula, but it's not one that I absolutely hate or anything, so I thought it could be a fun one to pull in. This one is kind of like a darker, kind of like mauve pink, or like a rosy pink, I think I would say. And then I wanted to pull in from Fenty Beauty. This is the Stunna Lip Paint in Uncuffed. This packaging kind of makes it hard for me to store, so I have it stored on like the side of my lipstick container, which means sometimes it just gets forgotten about because I can't see it as easily. So when I was going through my lipsticks, I was like, you know what? I love this shade. I really like this formula. I've talked about it and recommended it quite a bit, but I just don't wear it as much because I don't see it in my collection, which is terrible, but it's true. So this one is the shade of the Fenty Beauty Uncuffed lipstick. So those are the 3 lip products that are going in my April Shop My Stash bag. And other than that, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I know this is gonna get kind of long, but I like to give you my full thoughts on everything that I was trying out from the month before, and then kind of why I picked out the ones from April. Make sure to check back for tomorrow's video. I'll do a get ready with me using these products that I just showed you, and I hope that you guys have a fabulous month. Welcome to April. I hope it's great for you. If you guys enjoyed this video, I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up. I hope that you also consider subscribing before you go, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video.